Welcome to P.L.U.C. Season 2, the self-titled album.
Deuce.
We're wrapping up the
System of a Down.
I am Michael, and this is the Cuz.
My name's Ben, and I am ready to party.
We are still grading the tracks.
Terrific.
S down through F, with S being, we only have 14 of those to give out for the whole season. It'll be our top tier Desert Island playlist, the songs that we're cutting down to those top 14. And
From all of their songs.
The rest can burn.
They will burn. They
top.
will never, we will be on a desert island, and we'll never hear from them again.
That's right. We just have our one-time mixtape.
Yes. That's all you get. One-time mixtape. So this is a very important exercise because you want that mixtape to be righteous. You want the right System of a Down. You don't want the wrong System of a Down. S-tier mixtape. So we're going to publish those as Spotify playlists at the end of the season. Cool album cover.
Yeah.
It's a hand.
It's a giant hand.
Big hand. It's like a poster, right? Like some kind of communist propaganda that they repurposed into an album cover, essentially.
Yeah, inspired from a 1920s Communist Party poster from Germany that originally said, "A hand has 5 fingers. With these 5, grab the enemy." System of a Down flipped that into, "The hand has 5 fingers, capable and powerful with the ability to destroy as well as to create."
Open your eyes, open your mouths, close your hands, and make a fist. And I think that should have been the name of the album. Instead of self-titling it, it could have been Close Your Hands and Make a Fist. Or it could have been A Hand Has 5 Fingers. Those are just great titles, and they went for it with the imagery, but why not just title the album after the title of the poster or the imagery that's been printed on the poster? Why would you title it the record System of a Down? Like, I don't like self-titled albums usually to begin with, unless there's a specific reason to do it. Like, you shouldn't do it just because it's your first album. It's like, well, what's the theme of the album? Well,
right.
It's the theme of the band. It's like, no, the theme of your band should be a much broader picture. It can't be, unless you go back and do a self-titled album. Like, it's about us now. Like,
well, if it's self-titled, does it still get slotted like next to Slayer like they were trying to do?
I think so.
Or does that? I mean, obviously, if you go by band name, that's still the case.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes any difference. But if you called it A Hand Has 5 Fingers, then isn't it alphabetically towards the top?
It's a better album title. It's a good. I just always think of it as that because I just think of it as the hand album. I don't think of it as the self-titled album because it's just is what it is. It's got the big hand on it.
The hand album. I like that.
The white album, the black album, the hand album. Everybody knows the hand album. Now you know. P.L.U.C. podcast, hand album represent. Recognize the hand album. We got a couple more songs on the standard album release. We got Darts. We got P.L.U.C. P.L.U.C. is an acronym. System of a Down does this a lot. P.L.U.C. is the politically lying, unholy, cowardly killers. And they have several, not to mock what they're discussing, I'm just simply mocking the overuse of the acronym as a device, as a creative device.
Yes.
The song itself is the song on the album that is specifically dedicated to the activism of bringing awareness surrounding the Armenian genocide. It is explicitly explained in the album booklet that this song is that message. It's not like a vague anti-war message. It's a specific statement.
System of a Down would like to dedicate the song to the memory of the 1.5 million victims of Armenian genocide perpetrated by the Turkish government of 1915. Of course, death totals, with it being that far back, we did have Greeks and Serbians, a number of others that were victims of that as well. That number could be expected to be much, much higher as well.
Then that's the song that finalizes the album. The song we're doing before that, not quite as clear of a message with the song Darts. It's strange because System of a Down will go back and forth between very specific political messages and then just absolute, essentially just nonsense, like talking about tuna fish or just random nonsense lyrics. And Darts seems maybe like the very most goofball song on here. And so we're going to do them back to back. We're going to do Darts, the crazy one. We're going to do P.L.U.C, kind of the, very politically, overtly, and those are kind of the two sides of the System of a Down.
The booklet says, for Darts, the footnote, why do old societies hold the pantheon of 12 gods to be true, while modern societies generally have one god? To be honest with you, as a listener of music and someone that does not have a lot of background in religion, following, or researching, a track like this that very much brings a couple of gods from my research that are not a core of beliefs right now. According to System of a Down, Ishkur and Nitha are not worshipped as gods anymore, and this religion very much states that folks possibly could pretend to be gods and could fall from that grace. It's a very, very confusing religious message, and as someone that does not follow religion very closely, to me a song like this is actually very confusing and the message is trying to get across.
Yeah, I don't know what this song's about. I'm looking at the lyrics here. It's funny that the outro of the song is "Can you tell me I don't know?" That's the actual lyrics of the outro of the song. Art thou not human, man? That's part of it. It's about humanity. It's about gods. It's about lifestyles. It's about losing your way. Darts screech by my desires. Not sure what that means.
It is kind of fun that when he says darts kind of on the syllable there, it kind of sounds like it hits, like a dart hitting a board.
Ooh.
So that's kind of fun how he does that vocally.
Good old darts.
Good old darts.
So let's try it. Let's hear some darts. Those are the ones we're doing. Darts and pluck. Let's go darts. So kind of all over the place. You got quiet parts, loud parts, fast parts, slow parts, happy parts. It's emotions thrown at the wall everywhere with darts. Maybe that's what it is.
That could be it. I very much like the second verse. Life-threatening lifestyles, a hitman, a nun, lovers. That's a very interesting comparison, whether it's religion is dangerous or religion is death or life, death, whatever you want to draw from that. Interesting comparisons. I just don't fully know what was trying to get across from all this. So if you know, please comment on our socials and let us know what you think about
Do you
this
remember
song here.
darts? Do you think it deserves more than a C? Because I don't. I give it a C for darts.
I just give it a D.
Wow.
I don't
D for
necessarily
darts.
think it's a standout track.
Okay.
Lyrically, instrumentally, vocally, it's System of a Down. They do their vocal stuff.
Yeah, they do that stuff on most of the songs. And so, yeah, darts, kind of a dud. Here we go. The first acronym song by System of a Down, the politically lying Unholy. Let me make sure I get this right. The politically lying, unholy, cowardly killers. We will see this motif come back around where System of a Down will use an acronym in a song. It might be interesting to see if there's a progression or a link between the different System of a Down acronym songs. But I do believe, if we haven't skipped one already, the first of the acronym System of a Down song, also the first System of a Down song to be mentioned in the booklet as specifically about awareness of the Armenian genocide. So let's check it out. Kind of an awesome closer. This is another one where it's a progressive type song where it gets more and more intense. They keep introducing new riffs and new concepts as the song goes along. It doesn't necessarily just go around and around in a circle like a lot of pop music does. You get a lot of droning guitar at the beginning. Drums finally show up. Vocals finally show up. You get into like a disco, like boom bap disco almost beat that they hit with like a really crunchy guitars. The chorus or the more chill part is kind of generic. It just kind of sounds like whatever kind of radio new metal, but it is that kind of song where it's like, what do you follow this with? Like, it is kind of epic sounding, even if it's like really simple and kind of just not the best example of their abilities, but it's like just the way that this riff goes, like you can't really follow it with anything. It just feels like the end of a album or the end of a movie or whatever. It sounds like the credits song.
You get drums at 23 seconds, screaming at 51 seconds, vocals around the minute mark. We do have a nice Darren scream at 2:46. I believe that's Darren. We add different, elements as we start to build on the song here. It sounds like a end rap piece, like you said.
It's intense.
If you had to put a soundtrack to it, I guess.
It's choppy, it's intense, it's frantic, it's all over the place. But it charges straight forward in the same way. So
Yes.
It's like chaotic, but also like militant in a way. And that, again, kind of does sum up a lot of what System of a Down is. They're chaotic, but also militant band, politically, specifically has a political goal in mind. Just the fact that they all kind of just came together just out of the woodwork and never like sat down necessarily. I don't believe that came about till later when it's just, this is who we are. This is what we're interested in, what we want to use our voice and our platform to put out into the world. And it's just fascinating. It just seems to have all fit together for them to do this type of thing. And We're off to the races, man. The end of album 1. So what do you got for this song?
This is a song that they've been working on for a while, because this was on one of their old demo tapes previous to this coming out. So my grade here for P.L.U.K, politically line, Unholy, Cowardly Killers, solid B.
Solid B. I will give it a solid B+. More solider.
More solider.
It's not one that I remember or think back to, but it's got that thematic quality, and it's where they just fully went for the political group of the message of the group with the band.
Yep, and a perfect closer for this album for the normal release.
So let's sum up the album here, possibly. I mean, very tight, very zany, very creative, alternative metal, alternative rock, a lot of folk music influences from different cultures of music that we don't necessarily get to hear in pop music very often at all. The Armenian, Middle Eastern music in there, the glam metal, punk rock, Kiss metal, theatrical metal to an extent, but it's its own animal.
Yeah, we get all the elements that we'll continue to see through their career. You know, vocally, we have the wide range from just singing and screaming and death screaming and some of the whispering,
laughing,
giggling, laughing. We get all of that. Instrumentally, like you said, we get choppy sounding to some of the more folky or even waltzy different elements, and punk rock and metal-ish, and even a little bit of hip-hop at times with some of the quicker pacing and quicker tempo and the way that the vocals go. So we get some of that. The music videos, we do see the way that they wear face paint and different costumes sometimes, which is attributed to the Kiss influence, the political influence, the fight against government,
censorship, mind control.
This is stuff that we just see throughout their work, and it's very consistent.
Absolutely consistent. Yeah. So that's kind of the end of the System of a Down debut album. Guys, P.L.U.C. fans, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special treat for you. We've been doing P.L.U.C. more than a year now. We're on to season 2. We're going to drop some bonus content for you as we go along for System of a Down, and as we go along for other artists that we cover. We're going to go through the main canon albums and go track by track. In between the albums, if there is a song that appeared on a soundtrack or a B-side song or some kind of extra little nugget of recorded song, we're going to do those as bonus tracks, bonus episodes of the P.L.U.C. experience. And we're going to give you several of them all coming up, because in between the first and second System of a Down albums, they appeared on 4 different soundtracks, as well as there's still 2 bonus tracks that appeared on the Japanese edition of System of a Down, the album. We're going to cover all of them. They are all eligible and in the running for our finalized mixtape. So even though some of these might be more of a quick hit, kind of in and out, here's a bonus track for you, they are eligible. There might be some on the mixtape. They do deserve to be reviewed track by track into our summing up of the history of this band and just reaction to the different wealth of material that they have. So don't worry, we got them. We got them in there. We got the full list of songs, and we're going to hit them, and you guys are going to have quite a few little bonus nuggets content along the way to dig through here. We just want to do it for the fans, give you something extra meat on them bones for you.
So we'll be coming up here with a few extras for you. We'll talk to you next time.
You better hit them, better listen, you better get them while they're hot. Thank you.